For over 10 years, Luka Magnotta's case has remained a mystery, and countless unanswered questions exist. So many people were involved, yet almost no answers. The media rarely would tell the truth of Magnotta's story. It was never accurate. Luka was most definitely framed, but the question remains, who framed him? An individual named Derek Mackinnon is at the top of the suspect list. Magnotta's case needs to be reopened, and prosecutors needed to admit that they fucked up big time. Witnesses and suspects were not questioned. Evidence was misplaced, and the police had tunnel vision on Magnotta from the start. They failed to look at all other suspects, especially Derek Mackinnon. So let's discuss all aspects on how Derek Mackinnon was involved in Magnotta's case and how he framed Luka. Firstly, Luka Magnotta never, I repeat, never, lived at 1520 de Carey in Montreal. Luka rented that apartment to bring his escorting clients. He did not reside there ever. The apartment was completely empty, almost zero personal effects, only a bed, sofa, and a table. It was a whorehouse, and a lot of different escorts used that apartment to bring their clients. Different sex workers would schedule the unit for their sex sessions. Luka never lived there. So where did Luka live in Montreal? Nobody really knows. Luka's residence because he registered them in other people's names. Luka had a condo near the Mount Royal neighborhood, and he stayed a lot at the Montreal Queen Mary Hotel. What Luka doesn't want people to know, they never will. All these idiotic armchair detectives make fools of themselves daily. The facts speak for themselves. So who is Derek Mackinnon? What we know of him so far is this. He starred in 1980s horror films with Jamie Lee Curtis. He has an obsession with murder and serial killers. His entire apartment in the de Carey building was covered in murder and serial killer photos. Yes, Derek Mackinnon lived in 5720 de Carey building. Derek Mackinnon was cleaning the units and had the keys to all the apartments and was entering the prostitution unit and stealing personal effects. Derek also had access to the video surveillance. Derek Mackinnon created films. Yes, everyone, Derek provided multiple murder films and produced them over the years, including one murder film with a man on a bed stabbing another man with an ice pick and a poster of Casablanca. Yes, it's also true. Derek was inside the apartment. He had the keys to the apartment. So Derek Mackinnon dressed in all Luka's clothing and was obsessed with Magnotta and set everything up to frame Luka. Everything in the murder that night is directly connected to Derek Mackinnon. Derek had means, motive, and a lot of opportunity. He most definitely framed Magnotta. At Luka's trial, it said a Craigslist ass was discovered soliciting a three-way sex date. So the Craigslist ass Junlin answered requested a third person to join the sex party. Who exactly was this third person? Obviously Derek Mackinnon, who in my opinion is a real murderer. Research Derek Mackinnon in relation to Luka Magnotta, and read John McKellar's blog titled Framing Magnotta. John McKellar wrote all about Derek Mackinnon framed Luka, so read up, everyone. Manny Lopez was also involved in Montreal that night. We will get into that point soon. But what I would like to know is, why did the police not track the Craigslist ad back to Derek Mackinnon who sent it? Why didn't the idiots at the Montreal police question Derek Mackinnon or call him as a witness? It's incredible to have a man living in an apartment who creates horror films and murder films, who has the same Casablanca poster inside his films as in the One Lunatic, One Ice Pick video. And this man is Derek Mackinnon. Derek also really loved ice picks and would break into Luka's work residence with that maintenance janitor keys. Luka did not know this man, and never, I repeat, never, associated with anyone inside that building. Luka was unaware Derek Mackinnon was a huge stalker. Another idiot in the building was janitor Mike Nadeau, who never even spoke with Magnotta. Yet Mike Nadeau spins interviews and collects money off of Luka's name. Hey, Mike Nadeau, shut up. You never knew Luka or spoke with him before. Stop doing interviews and being an exploiter. So as you all know, the 5720 DeCary building has multiple entrances and exits, and all the surveillance camera footage was not recovered because Derek Mackinnon had access to it. A lot of very shady people looked at that address, and Derek planted a lot of the evidence, in my opinion. It's very unclear what they checked when it has to do with Manny Lopez and Derek Mackinnon. Because Manny Lopez and Derek Mackinnon were doing inside Luka's apartment on that night of May 25th, 2012. But for sure, Luka was not alone. This is a guarantee. The prosecutors need to reopen the Magnotta case because too many unanswered questions exist. What was the pepper spray seen in the evidence photo but never presented at trial? Luka never even had any suitcase inside that apartment, so where did the suitcase originate from? Obviously, someone planning a murder would have a suitcase. Manny Lopez, who is well documented in Luka's life, remains unfound. Luka had multiple cell phones and did internet video calls. The police wrongly stated they checked the phone records. They checked only one phone record. Luka had multiple telephones. Also, Luka did Skype with Manny, so the police were imbeciles who let the media parade inside the apartment and contaminate evidence. Again, check John McKellar's blog, Framing Magnotta. Google that. Also, who tipped off the press? And why was a suitcase opened by a janitor randomly? Out of all the furniture, coincidentally, the building's maintenance opened that suitcase? Doesn't make sense. Luka was definitely involved with a lot of very powerful clients in the government, and in my opinion, Manny Lopez and Derek Mackinnon had secret hidden cameras set up in the apartment, used by multiple escorts. Derek and Manny were blackmailing these politicians. Luka was caught in the middle and framed. Also, the snuff murder video, One Lunatic, One Ice Pick, was not produced by Luka. That is fake news. Luka never produced that video, nor did Luka name that video. It's all lies and fake news. Social media posts on the internet were discovered weeks before the murder, mentioning One Lunatic, One Ice Pick. So obviously, Derek and Manny were plotting to set Luka up. The sex tapes of the powerful government politician exist, and will be revealed if the Canadian government ever try and go after Derek Mackinnon or Manny Lopez. So the government is needing Luka as their safety scapegoat. Witnesses seen black vehicles and shady individuals around the building all night. As for the boxes sent to the politicians, Luka never sent those. Luka was inside the pharmacy to mail a money order. That was confirmed. None of Luka's fingerprints or handwriting was ever found on any of the boxes. Luka was drugged and forced to drink wine that evening, and was asleep the entire time the murder took place. So Luka didn't even know about the murder. Luka went on a pre-planned vacation to Paris, which he planned for months in advance. Luka planned to stay in Paris and then vacation in Russia, and then return to Canada. Luka had zero idea anyone was looking for him. Luka wore a wig with long hair because his clients for escorting requested long hair, and Luka made a lot of money pleasing his clients. Luka never disguised himself. Luka never was looking at news about himself inside the internet cafe in Berlin. Luka was watching an Ava Gardner film, waiting for a friend to drive him to the airport. Luka was scheduled to travel to Russia when a rat store employee flagged down some military passing by. These German military arrested Magnotta. Luka never exclaimed, "You got me." That is fake news. Luka was bewildered and actually responded, "Yes, that's my name. Don't believe the fake news." Everything in the Magnotta trial was lies. Luka's lawyer, Luke LeClaire, was working for the CBC News and leaking a lot of information to their tabloid crime show, Fifth Estate, which is total garbage and sensationalist lies. At Luka's trial, the jury deliberation room was broken into and evidence stolen by the government. Surveillance tape went missing. The jurors worked for the detective's husband, and severe juror misconduct occurred. Luka was definitely framed. Derek Mackinnon and Manny Lopez are now long gone. Luka's case needs to definitely be reopened, and people will see the truth and see Magnotta is an amazing person who was set up. I would really appreciate comments and people sharing more of the truth is to come. Thank you, everybody.